Good morning. In this class, we will discuss about the pharmacotherapy of glaucoma. That means it's a medical management for a condition known as glaucoma. In this topic, we will discuss few important things about glaucoma. That means the pathophysiology of glaucoma, the type of glaucoma, and the major groups of drugs which are useful in the treatment of glaucoma. Coming to glaucoma, even though we have different definition for this glaucoma, the most significant factor associated with the term glaucoma is there is progressive optic neuropathy, and which result in irreversible visual field defect, and this condition almost always associated with a raised intraocular pressure. So this reduction of this raised intraocular pressure is the key element in the management of glaucoma. So before we discuss about this medical management, we should know some important points or pathophysiological things which leads to this elevated intraocular pressure. So what is the culprit behind this elevated intraocular pressure? In the eye there are two types of humor, that means vitreous humor as well as aqueous humor, and this aqueous humor is the major culprit behind this elevated intraocular pressure associated with this glaucoma. So either there is an increased production of aqueous humor or there is a impaired drainage of this aqueous humor, either increased production or impaired drainage. So both these can lead to elevated intraocular pressure. So we will discuss few important physiology of this aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is produced from the ciliary epithelium in the ciliary process, and from there it goes into the posterior chamber. That means posterior chamber is just in front of the lens and behind this iris, and from this posterior chamber it moves into the anterior chamber through the pupil, and there is a iridocorneal angle. There is this portion of this angle, that means it's the angle between iris and the cornea, iridocorneal angle. There is a canal of Schramm, and from this it enters the trabecular meshwork and it is absorbed, and there is another minute pathway for the drainage is also. So this flow chart is showing the pathway of movement of this aqueous humor. That means from the site of production, that means it's a ciliary process, it moves into the posterior chamber, and then through the pupil it moves to the anterior chamber, and there are two routes for the drainage of this aqueous humor. So the major route is known as trabecular outflow, that drains almost 90% of this aqueous humor. That way is in the anterior chamber, it through the iridocorneal angle it moves into the Schramm's canal, trabecular meshwork, into the episcleral venous plexus, and there is a minor pathway which drains only the 10% of this aqueous humor in the eye. That's known as uveoscleral outflow, which is through this ciliary body itself, ciliary body into the suprachoroidal space and into the systemic circulation. Coming to the classification of this glaucoma, depending upon the pathology, we have two types of glaucoma. The first one is open angle glaucoma and the second one is closed angle glaucoma. In open angle glaucoma, this iridocorneal angle is normal. That means there's an open angle, but the patency of this trabecular meshwork is impaired. So this drainage of aqueous humor is not adequately taking place, and this aqueous humor is accumulated. And the second condition is a closed angle glaucoma. That means this iridocorneal angle is very narrow, and which decreases the absorption of this aqueous humor. So these are the two important classifications, and first we will discuss about this open angle glaucoma. That means the medical management of this open angle glaucoma. Before discussing the drugs useful in the management of glaucoma, we should know what is the prime goal of the treatment. So the prime goal in the management of this glaucoma is to reduce the intraocular pressure. For that thing we can use different modes, so it includes medication, laser therapy, and conventional surgeries like iridotomy, trabeculotomy, etc. So here we discuss only the medication. So by using medication we either reduces the secretion or promotes the drainage. Coming to the drugs useful in the management of glaucoma, these are the groups of drugs effective in the medical management of glaucoma, which includes beta blockers, alpha 2 or alpha adrenergic agonist, prostaglandin analogs, carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, and myotics. These are the 5 groups of drugs useful in the management of glaucoma. This flowchart shows the result of each drug using for the management of this glaucoma. So as I already said, they act through two mechanisms. They either increases the excretion or decreases the production. So the agents which reduces the aqueous production includes beta blockers, alpha agonist, carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Some agents have more than one mechanisms, and the second group is by increasing the trabecular outflow, which includes myotics and alpha agonist, and the third group is those agents increase the uveo-scleral outflow, which includes prostaglandin analogs as well as alpha agonist. Alpha agonist, they majorly increases the uveo-scleral outflow. So this picture shows the site of action of each anti-glaucoma drugs. So we have myotics, which mainly increases the trabecular outflow, and we have certain agents like beta blockers, alpha agonist, carbonic anhydrase, which decreases the production of aqueous humor, so they act in the ciliary epithelium, and certain agents which increases the uveo-scleral outflow, which includes prostaglandin analogs as well as adrenaline, they act in the ciliary body, and this adrenaline also they act in the trabecular outflow also. Before discussing about the drugs, we will see some important location of certain autonomic receptors in the eye. So we have certain important receptors in eye like muscarinic receptor M3 and adrenergic receptors like alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 2. So the first one is M3 muscarinic receptors, which is located in two sides, ciliary muscle as well as in constrictor pupillae of the iris. So in the iris it leads to constriction of the pupil, that means meiosis. And this alpha 1 receptor, it's located in two sides, dilator pupillae as well as in the ciliary body. The dilator pupillae, it leads to mydriasis of the pupil. And this alpha 2 receptors located in ciliary body epithelium, and beta 2 receptors in the ciliary body epithelium as well as ciliary muscle. Coming to the first group of drugs useful in the management of glaucoma is beta blockers. So we have different agents as beta blockers, which includes timolol, betaxolol, levobunolol, carpiolol, metipranolol. So this major mechanism by which they act is it reduces the secretion of aqueous humor by blocking the beta 2 receptors in the ciliary epithelium. They block the beta 2 receptors in ciliary epithelium and decreases the production of aqueous humor. So we will discuss timolol as the first beta blocker. So timolol, it's a non-selective beta blocker, that means it blocks both beta 1 as well as beta 2. It's the most widely used drug in the management of glaucoma. It's available in different concentration, 0.25% or as well as 0.5%, and it blocks the beta 2 receptors and reduces the secretion, and it associated with certain side effects which include either local side effect or the systemic side effect. So as a beta blocker, it leads to bradycardia and bronchospasm as the systemic side effect. So its use is cautious in those patients suffering from COPD, bronchial asthma or cardiac block, and also has some local side effect like corneal hyposthesia, stinging, redness, etc. We have the second agent is betaxolol. It's a beta 1 selective blocker. It's less efficacious as compared to timolol, because this ocular receptors, which is mainly responsible for this production of this aqueous humor, is beta 2. So it its efficacy is very less as comparing to timolol, and it has less bronchopulmonary and less cardiac side effect, but it appears to exert a protective role in the retinal neuron independent of the intraocular tension reduction, and this is achieved by blocking some calcium channels and reducing the sodium calcium influx. So that concept is not that much clear, but its intraocular tension reduction is less as comparing to this timolol, but its protective efficacy is much more. And the third drug in the beta blocker group is levobunolol. Its mechanism of action is similar, and it's a once daily alternative to timolol because it has longer duration of action. So there are some advantages of these topical beta blockers over miotics. So this agent does not induce any change in the size of the pupil, so there is no associated myopia, no headache, no brow pain. It's convenient because it's only twice daily or once daily application. So there are certain side effects associated with the myotics, so that we will discuss later, so which include the pupillary size change, myopia or headache or brow pain. So these complications are not associated with this beta blockers, that's why they are preferred as the first line, one of the first line drug useful in the management of glaucoma. Now we have the second group of drugs, so they are alpha adrenergic agonist. Among that we have three agents: dipivefrin, epaclonidine and brimonidine. The first one is dipivefrin, which is a prodrug of adrenaline. Prodrug means a drug which is converted into an active drug and which is effective. So here this dipivefrin is converted into adrenaline by corneal esterase, because adrenaline as such, it has a very poor corneal penetration. Its major mechanism of action is it increases the uveo scleral outflow, and also it reduces the formation of aqueous humor by acting as agonist in the alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors located on the ciliary body. And it produces systemic as well as local side effect. It produces palpitation, hypertension, anxiety and blurred vision, redness and burning and stinging sensation. And the second agent is epaclonidine. It's a clonidine congener, decreases the aqueous production by acting on alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors as agonist, and it's mainly used for a short time control of intraocular tension, and it produces certain adverse drug reaction like itching, dryness of the mouth and mydriasis. And we have this third agent is brimonidine. It's also a clonidine congener. It has more selective action on the alpha 2 receptors. It also decreases the aqueous production and increases the uveoscleral outflow, but its major action is decreasing the aqueous humor production, and as compared to other two agents it has less side effects. Now we have the third and most important drug group in the management of glaucoma is prostaglandin analogs. They are mainly analogs of prostaglandin F2 alpha, PGF2 alpha. They are now the first choice of drugs in primary open angle glaucoma. They replaces the beta blockers because of this certain advantages like low incidence of systemic side effects. They have potent intraocular pressure lowering as compared to beta blockers, and usually once daily dosing is needed. And their major mechanism of action is to they increases the uveoscleral outflow, even though this uveoscleral outflow constitute only the 10% of the aqueous humor drainage, but these agents predominantly increases the uveoscleral outflow. We have different agents in this group. We have latanoprost, bimatoprost, travoprost, uniprostone, etc. The first agent is latanoprost. This agent is now used as a first line agent or first choice drug for the open angle glaucoma. Its efficacy is more or less similar to timolol, but its advantages that like absence of systemic side effects once daily using, it makes this drug as a first line agent as comparing to beta blockers. We use this drug in a very small concentration. This drug is associated with mainly local side effects like iris pigmentation, increased growth and thickness of the eyelashes, irritation. Sometimes macular edema is also seen. We have two more prostaglandin analogs, which includes travoprost and bimatoprost. Travoprost is a selective PGF2 alpha agonist. It increases the UVO scleral outflow. Its effect start within 2 hours of application and become peaks at 12 hours and last for around 24 hours. And bimatoprost also, those properties are almost same, and its efficacy is equally or more effective than latanoprost. Coming to the fourth group of drug which is effective in the management of open angle glaucoma is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Carbonic anhydrase means it's an enzyme which is helps in the formation of bicarbonate as well as carbonic acid from carbon dioxide and water. So by inhibiting this carbonic anhydrase enzyme, there is decreased production of bicarbonate, and its bicarbonate is an essential constituent of this aqueous humor. Thus this agent reduces the aqueous humor production by limiting the generation of bicarbonate ion in the ciliary epithelium. These agents are used to supplement other ocular hypotensive drugs, and it produces certain systemic side effects like hypokalemia, acidosis and paresthesia. So we have few carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. The first one is acetazolamide. It's a systemic drug, that means we administer this drug through the oral route, which reduces the production of aqueous humor. It's mainly used for short-term indications like sudden reduction of intraocular pressure in case of an acute angle closure glaucoma, and before and after ocular surgery to reduce the aqueous humor production. It produces systemic side effect like hypokalemia, acidosis, etc. And we have a topical agent which is known as dorzolamide, and because of its topical action it does not produces much systemic side effect, but it does produces certain local side effects like corneal edema, burning sensation, etc. We have another topical agent is known as brinzolamide. It's not that much commonly used as compared to acetazolamide or dorzolamide. Now it's the fifth group of drugs useful in glaucoma management is miotics. We use cholinergic drugs as miotics in glaucoma management. We have pilocarpine as well as physostigmine. Physostigmine is an anticholinesterase drug, that means this drug inhibits the cholinesterase enzyme. They have usefulness both in open angle as well as angle closure glaucoma. In open angle glaucoma, they increases the tone of ciliary muscle, which pull and improves the alignment of trabecula. So the trabecular patency is improved, which leads to enhanced drainage of aqueous humor. And in angle closure glaucoma, these agents are producing miosis, so there will be medial shifting of the iris, so iris mass is moving medially, so this iridocorneal angle is more free. So that means it lessens it decreases the angle closure, so that also improves the outflow of aqueous humor. But these agents has certain side effects like salivation, and it produces miosis, which leads to spasm of accommodation and brow ache. There are chances of iritis and retinal detachment. So the current treatment protocol for primary open angle glaucoma is it's to start the monotherapy with latanoprost or a topical beta blocker like timolol. Then this brimonidine or dorzolamide used only when there is a contraindication to the prostaglandin analogs or beta blockers, or they can use it as supplementary drugs to latanoprost or timolol. And the topical miotics and oral acetazolamide, they are added only as last resort. So that's all about open angle glaucoma. In open angle glaucoma, we use 5 groups of drugs for the management. So it includes beta blockers, alpha agonist, prostaglandin analogs, carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, and miotics. So among this Prostaglandin PGF2 alpha analogs are the first line or first preferred drug, and beta blockers, and then carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, alpha agonist, as well as miotics. Now it's time to discuss about angle closure glaucoma. So this angle closure glaucoma, it's a type of glaucoma in which this rise in intraocular pressure occurs due to blockage of the outflow of the aqueous humor. It's most of the time it's associated with a block in the narrow iridocorneal angle. It's associated with certain symptoms like pain, nausea and vomiting, progressive impairment of vision, photophobia, redness and lacrimation. Coming to the management of angle closure glaucoma. So this in angle closure glaucoma, the medical treatment is only to terminate an acute attack. So this medical management is not the definitive management for this angle closure glaucoma. It's mainly surgical. That means the definitive treatment is by surgical, either by trabeculectomy or by peripheral laser iridotomy, and in certain cases prophylactic laser iridotomy in the unaffected eye is also recommended. So the medical management only has a ameliorative role. So for the medical management of acute angle closure glaucoma, we use certain agents which rapidly reduces the intraocular pressure. For that purpose, we use osmotic diuretics like hypertonic mannitol or glycerol, acetazolamide, initially IV followed by oral routes, then topical pilocarpine, topical beta blockers, alpha agonist or prostaglandin analogs. So a few points about this osmotic diuretics. So we have two examples, either a 20% solution of hypertonic mannitol or a 10% solution of glycerol. Due to their osmotic ability, they draws fluid from the intracellular compartment. Thus, they reduces the intraocular pressure. So these osmotic diuretics are the first line drug in case of a acute angle closure glaucoma because it rapidly reduces the intraocular pressure. And that's the end of the discussion about glaucoma management. We have two types of glaucoma, open angle glaucoma as well as angle closure glaucoma. For both types we use major 5 class of drugs, which includes beta blockers, prostaglandin analogs, alpha agonist, carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, then miotics. So for the management of acute angle closure glaucoma, we have another group of drug is also available, which is known as osmotic diuretic.